Friends, Greg Newmaster coming at you again with another action figure review. Today I have SH Figuarts Spider-Man 2099 from Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. If you like the video, please like and subscribe and help me to build my channel. You know, guys and gals, anybody who's listening, it's not often that a movie creates a better version than the comic book does. I've only seen this a few times, in my opinion, and the first time was with Captain America and Iron Man. They were sort of B characters in the Marvel Universe. We all loved Captain America, we all loved Iron Man, but did they trump Spidey? Did they trump the X-Men? And if you grew up in the late 80s and the 90s, absolutely not. And you were a comic book collector, no way. Nothing trumped Spider-Man and the X-Men. So when the Marvel Cinematic Universe came along and they created, first of all, Robert Downey Jr. As Iron Man, and he created the character of Tony Stark in his performance and just made it something new and made it something better. And it burned into our souls like that is Iron Man. And the same with Chris Evans and Captain America. Like, who would have thought the guy who played the Human Torch, which we all kind of knew him as, would come along and just own the character of Steve Rogers and create and make something new out of it and likable and awesome. And these characters are so awesome now that all the new characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe are failing because everybody loved those characters so much that anything that is new is just like blah. But that's my humble opinion. Now we have this again, in my opinion. Spider-Man 2099, Miguel O'Hara. So people actually, got all up in arms about when Miles Morales came along, and he was a diverse character. He wasn't traditionally the white Peter Parker, but they actually did it first with a Hispanic Spider-Man in Spider-Man 2099, and he wasn't as interesting. He really wasn't. Spider-Man 2099. It was a novelty. It was exciting at first, but he just didn't sustain himself. And here's my issue of Spider-Man 2099, issue 1, from 1992. This is I bought this as a kid. You can see how beat up it still is. The backer board is yellowed. Actually, I didn't even buy this. My cousin bought this and then he gave it to me. But this was our first issue of Spider-Man 2099. And here we have in Across the Spider-Verse not only an awesome representation of Spider-Man 2099, but they improved on him. And man, did they do such a good job of sort of making him he is the antagonist, but is he a villain or is he the good guy? And you're asking yourself this as you're watching the film. And that's what all great movies do. They make you ask these questions and they get you thinking about it and talking about it and you get excited about it. And he's trying to do the right thing. He's trying to save the multiverse, but then we have Miles Morales, who is our protagonist, who's our hero, and he's trying to do the right thing for himself. But who's actually doing the right thing, and how is the story going to wrap up? That's the question. How are they going to wrap up the Spider-Verse story? And who's right? Our hero, Miles Morales, or is Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099, correct? And if you think about it logically, Spider-Man 2099 is right, because by Miles, spoiler alert, saving his father, it could potentially wipe out other universes. So what are we going to do about that? So just a great story, great movies, animation, voice acting, production, just excellent. Some of the best Spider-Man movies ever produced. And here we have this character. So I was so excited to get this version of Spider-Man 2099. The Marvel Legends version looked mediocre. And I got to give it to SH Figuarts. They do a really great job of translating animated characters into action figures. They don't do as good of a job, in my opinion, as Mafex does with live action characters. I think Mafex just nails it. But they do a really great job with animated characters. And actually, you know, the new Batman figure I just did a review on, Michael Keaton Batman from The Flash, is a pretty darn good figure. But they're just improving and they keep getting better and better. And I had to get this figure, so let's take a look at it. This is great box artwork. So if you look at the original comic book design, there are quite a few differences. They tweaked it a lot, but they kept it true. And honestly, that doesn't matter to me. Normally, I get really irritated when they change things drastically from the comics. But this is an example of them improving the character visually, artistically, and the performance of Oscar Isaac just translated so well that's how I see Spider-Man 2099 now. So there's the front of the box. There's the bottom of the box. Here's the side of the box. Let me adjust the lighting. Here's the back. All the different poses you get. Here's the other side. And where is the sticker of authenticity? There it is now. So they put it there and it's a circle. So let's bust this baby open and see what we got. This is a big figure. So normally Bandai, SH Figuarts action figure boxes are this big. So this is Batman compared to Spider-Man 2099. So this is a very large figure. Let's open him up. I already cut the tape on the side. By the way, mine arrived from Japan, and it actually arrived for you collectors out there. This is the first time I got a figure in the mailer from SH Figuarts. So it came in this mailer, which is really nice. If you want to really, really hold on to the packaging and maybe resell it someday. So that's very exciting. All right, so let's pull this guy out and see what we got. Just such a cool character. They did such a good job with this that I was so excited to get this thing. Wow, he is huge. Like, he is huge. So look at him. This is Miles. He towers over him. So, wow. Very exciting. What all do we got here? So let's pull this. Man, this is a big boy. So he has these sort of extensions that come out of his gauntlet. They're a harder plastic, and I'm gonna be nervous to potentially break them off. I don't think they're removable, so you're gonna want to be really careful with that. If he falls off of a high place, there's a really good chance that those could break off. So they put the little plastic in between his torso to protect paint rub. And wow, he is just, what a gorgeous looking figure. It's just all the little minor details in the sculpt, on the shoulders, on the chest, even in the logo. Very futuristic looking. He even has futuristic looking butt cheeks. Looks amazing. So let's get a look at this very heavy figure too. Like, he is just a beast compared to Miles. Like a monster of a figure. So shoulders go up that high. We got the double jointed elbows. Really big wrist joints. If you can see that there. They're just real thick and bulky. We got butterfly joints, so 2 sets of joints, so you can get maximum movement, articulation. The head just popped off very easily, but lots of movement. Oh, okay, that head and neck joint just popped off like very easily. Which is a good thing and a bad thing, so just be careful with that. So I popped his head off like so. Yeah, so that's kind of annoying. It's supposed to articulate, but it's not in there very well, and I'm kind of afraid. Oh, there we go. Okay, so there's the movement. So we get some nice movement. Mine just popped off very easily, so be careful with that. So we get some really good neck movement. You just want to make sure it doesn't pop up. Wow, okay, so I'm not getting too much of a crunch here in the torso, and mine's kind of stuck, which is not optimal. So I'm a little bit concerned about that and the crunch. We don't got too much of a back bend. And I'm not sure if the joint is just stuck. And as you can see, the head keeps popping off. So that's a little bit problematic. What else do we have here? I can't even move. It looks like it's supposed to articulate here in where the hips meet, but it's kind of stuck. Which means I'm not sure if I can, there we go. So if I slip it down, I can get a little bit more of an ab crunch, but not very much at all. So that's kind of unfortunate. We can do a straddle like that. The leg can kick that high. We have ankle articulation, pivot on a hinge. We got toe articulation. Always nice to have with a Spider-Man. We got the double jointed knees, so that's nice. They got these weird hip pieces here. So let's see if we can get them in the nice Spider-Man sort of crouch pose. But we're kind of limited on. So I just lost a piece. Okay, his knee joint just fell off. So that's a little bit frustrating. So I'm gonna have to glue that on to make sure it stays on. Okay, so he's kind of fragile, which is a little bit disappointing. So some dynamic poses, but he's very fragile. So be very careful with this figure. And like I said, he's really big. So I don't know how well he's going to stand up. So what else do we get? We get his web cape, which is hard. Man, that's so disappointing. So his web cape is a hard plastic. It's not a soft vinyl, which is really disappointing. So I don't even know if I'm going to put this on him because... So Spider-Man 2099 always glided around versus web swinging very much in the comics. He always glided. And he had like sort of that web cape that helped him do that. And they do that in the movie, but he has this hard red cape, which there's no movement to it, which I don't like that at all. So we got a piece here on the back that's supposed to pop off, but there we go. Struggling to get it off there. And that ports in like so, and you get about that much movement with it. So that's really disappointing. So I probably will not pose my figure with the web cape. And then you can put that piece back on like so. But mine is falling off. So, there we go. What else do we get? We get the Miguel O'Hara head. There was actually a lot of complaints about this versus like the production images and what you actually get. And it's not too bad, honestly. It's just a darker skin tone, which I don't mind. He looked pretty pale in the production images, so looks good to me. I'm going to pop this neck joint on and try and put this on like so. And he looks pretty darn good. So, I don't know. People were upset about this, but he looks pretty good. Not like perfect like the production images, and that's very frustrating when they don't match it. But he looks pretty good to me. You also get his time wristband, which they're actually you use this to like pop things off, so I'm struggling to get this stuff out because I'm not using the tool that they provide. And here's his time wristband, so you can pop the hand off and slide that on. I think I have that on right, or did I put it on backwards? Can't remember. I think it goes on like this, but I could be wrong. Anyhow, I'm going to try and not spill this all over the place. And the wristband goes like, yeah, so I had it right. Yeah, the wristband goes just like that. So that's really cool. What else do we get? We get some... He had really crazy web. So you do have a couple web effects. Here's a longer one. They're sort of like laser webs. And then a shorter web effect. And you can pop that on his wrist and display it. And then you get two other sets of hands. You get just some open hands. And then you get another set of open hands with his talons, which I'm definitely going to display him with. Because that's the only disappointing thing, is I wish they would have given a fanged version of the Miguel head sculpt. I think that would have been cool. Yeah, so I love how he has the talons. That's how he wall crawls. Because if anybody has read Spider-Man 2099, he gets his spider powers because the nemesis, his villain, infects him with drug addiction, and he does the spider experiment. He's a geneticist to heal himself of the drug addiction, and it ends up failing, but it gives him the powers, or he gets spider powers. So he looks really awesome. I love the talons. They look awesome. So anyhow, guys, it's a great figure nonetheless. It does have some issues. I wish it had a fanged face to show him with his fangs, how he can paralyze his victims. And the articulation could be a little bit better. Mine is just stuck. Let me know in the comments if anybody else who gets this has some problems. But if you like the video, please like and subscribe, and God bless you all. Peace. SH Figuarts, Spider-Man 2099, Miguel O'Hara.